Former Mayor Jerry Sanders is back again this morning as he is joining us first week as the CEO and president of the San Diego Chamber of Commerce.
This morning he's here to talk about what he sees for the future of business and commerce in San Diego County. Immediately, we need to see about $30 million in revenue released so that the marketing district can get the word out. Time to come back to San Diego and spend your tourist dollars here, right?
You know, tourism is such an integral part of San Diego, and you think about all the jobs that are created that way. There's about 160,000 jobs just in the tourism industry, and that's just in the hotel industry. That's not all the allied industries, the suppliers and the restaurants and the shops and everything else that's affected by this. And if we don't get the word out, if the marketing district can't get the word out about San Diego, we're dependent on group sales here. That means you start seeing it dry up. You don't see the number of tourists coming in. People just don't wander in. You do an aggressive marketing campaign to cities you know will draw them.
Based on your knowledge of the situation and the people involved in it, you think it'll happen next week? They'll get this thing done.
I do think it'll happen. I think everybody wants this to work, and I think that it'll finally come out. It's one of those things you simply can't not have. You can't dry up the tourism district because of an argument like this, and I think everyone's looking for a way to get out of this now.
I understand you're going to be a tourist next week when you head down south over the border. What's going on in Mexico?
We have our 6th annual Mexico trip, or 8th annual Mexico trip with the Chamber. Have about 75 people going, elected officials, business people. It gives us an opportunity to go to Mexico City and talk to commerce leaders and talk to government leaders there and talk about how we can work closer together. And we do the same thing in September when we go to Washington, D.C., and a lot of business people from Mexico also come with us back there. So this trip will be Monday through Thursday. And then we have our big Congressional Luncheon on Friday, April 19th, where our congressional delegation comes in and have a lunch, and people can ask them questions, and they talk about what's going on in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm. Right back in the saddle again for
right
you,
back in the saddle, but it's good.
Yeah.
There are some major issues that I'm sure you got caught up while you were gone in Italy that we just wanted to throw at you and see your opinion. Let's start with Plaza de Panama and everything that's going on in Balboa.
Yeah, I was really disappointed in that decision. I don't believe it was correct, but it's just tragic. I mean, we had a plan that would turn Balboa Park, that ugly parking lot we're looking at right now, into a grand public plaza, would reroute the traffic around and really set the tone for 2015, and that's simply not going to happen now, and I think that's too bad.
All right, the convention center and it's the improvements that are long overdue there.
Convention center, that's the other leg of the tourism. And in order to draw those conventions that are most lucrative, like the orthopedic surgeons and Comic-Con and all of those, you have to have expanded space, and it has to be contiguous. You can't have it 6 blocks away. We really looked at that and noodled it and all of that. It has to be contiguous, and the plan's there and the financing's there. So I think that's going to happen, and that's going to be critically important for San Diego tourism.
And then what about the new Chargers Stadium that seems like we've been talking about for years?
Yeah, I know, we have. It's kind of like the airport discussion.
Yeah, right.
I still think there's a good opportunity to have that in the east end of downtown. To attach an entertainment district, and I think then it becomes an economic generator. It's not about football. It's about an economic engine that drives the east end of downtown, much like Petco did for the gas lamp, where we saw that create about $7 billion in investment for the $1 billion that was put into Petco and all the other things around that. That's what we need at the east end of downtown, especially with redevelopment gone now. And so I think that's ultimately what's going to happen, and I think it'd be great for the Chargers. But then that becomes a multi-use venue that can be used for convention. The overflow can be used for a lot of things.
Yeah, we know that in your new role as CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, you're going to have to work very, very closely with the mayor. But can we talk you into giving us a report card on Mayor Filner 4 months into his tenure?
You know, I think people thought that mayors were all going to act like me. And, you know, we're all individuals. If you look back, each mayor's been completely different. And Mayor Filner's got a different personality, a different style. He's been in Congress for a long time. He's on the city council. He's just different than I was. And I don't think that's bad or good. It's simply the way it is. So, you know, I work well with Bob. I've known him for a long time, and he's a character. But I think that what I always look for is this: does he have San Diego's best interest at heart? And I think he does. It's just his interests are a little bit different. So I think it's going to take some time to see how that fleshes out.
The 411 on you is that you work well with just about everybody.
Well, I try
What's
to.
your secret? What, do you have a secret sauce?
Well, you know,
and what's it taste like? What are the ingredients?
I think that having a police background really gave me a different perspective in the other careers that I've been in.
Pull a weapon if somebody doesn't agree with you?
Well, I was used to a little bit more obedience when I spoke.
Yeah, I bet you were.
You know, you have to work with people all the time. And when you get into situations as a police officer, you can't command your way out of them. You've got to be working with groups of people. You've got to work with communities. And I think that helped me see that that's the best way to get things done when you're in other situations like being mayor, or like United Way or Red Cross, or now with the regional chamber. It's really bringing people together and moving advocacy forward.
Are you wishing you stayed in Italy like a month longer?
No.
No?
You know, it was perfect while we were there, and we didn't really feel like coming home until about the last 2 days, and then we just knew it was time. My wife was going to go back to work. She's looking for a job, and I think we missed San Diego.
Yeah.
Italy was wonderful, but when you land in San Diego, you just feel like, boy, this is the greatest place on earth.
No
If there's
place
any
like
place
home.
to come home to,
This
has got to be it, right?
That's exactly right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a place that's better than Italy.
I feel the same way. After 25 years away, having graduated
Right.
from high school here, it's a great
And I
place
heard
to
you
come
had
home
some
to.
great stops in Green Bay and other cold areas.
Oh, yeah. Boston. Boy, I tell you, I'm loving it.
And that's why everyone comes back to San Diego.
That's right.
Well, Jerry
Welcome home.
Sanders, wonderful to see you, and we're glad that you're back.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad to be back, and thanks for inviting me on this morning.
Now
Thanks for
get to
being our
work.
guest on Good
Okay.
Morning San Diego.
Thank you so much.